doing something wrong. Page 2. Hey, this is SF Live. You're watching with Arnel Valle. I'm going to be your host tonight. I'm joined here in the studio with our guest, Rene Capone, wonderful artist, and also author of The Legend of Hedgehog Boy. Legend of Hedgehog Boy, book number 1. I got to point that out because it's his first book. Part 2 is going to be coming up. We're going to talk about that. A lot of stuff's happening with Rene, but first I want to thank you for coming here in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
Rene hails from upstate New York, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about growing up in upstate New York.
There are lots of trees, and not a lot happened.
Right. A lot of hot summers, a lot of cold winters.
Extreme seasons.
And a lot of circumstances
a
that
lot of
drew
reasons
you...
to leave.
Right, a lot of reasons to leave and come to San Francisco. Why San Francisco? Why clear across the country? What was
New
the
York
draw?
City is too hectic.
Mm-hmm.
And past New York City, there's one other place to go, and that's San Francisco.
Right. Legend of Hedgehog Boy. It's a graphic novel. I love using that word. It's a graphic novel.
Sounds important.
It sounds important. It's far beyond a comic book. Would you consider this as being something for adult material? Or sophisticated youth?
Both.
Both?
Both.
But definitely not a children's book.
It could be read 2 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so one way would be specifically directed just towards like pre-teenage children.
Mm-hmm.
But then an adult could read it and I think find just as much meaning in it.
All right. The Legend of Hedgehog Boy actually encompasses, for the most part, your entire life to now.
Well, parts of it.
Mm-hmm. As much as it can be condensed in about 52 pages?
Yes.
Right. Tell us about Hedgehog Boy.
I guess I should start by reading the poem there.
Yeah. I love the opening lines.
It says, "I want to be respected for what I am, a cute, cuddly creature burdened by swords." And so a hedgehog is this cute little thing that has all these swords on top of it. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it was a mistake. They shouldn't be there. Like Mother Nature put them there and whoops. But there must be a reason.
Right.
And so I think I identified with that, and I thought, it looks like he wants to be petted, but he can't, ever. And that's kind of sad.
It sounds like a curse.
But he's kind of adorable, so...
Right. You're compelled right. to get close, but you need a lot of caution and care to
And you
get
can't actually
close.
pet them. You have to sort of pick them up and scoop them the right way.
Right. It's a skill.
So I was thinking a lot about, being a child, and I'm at that strange age where you kind of look back and you see a lot about your life. I guess that happens as you get older.
Right.
And I just identified with that creature. So I started to make the story, and I had this idea that what if all these boys just put animals on top of their heads?
Right.
And went with it like it was real? They kill them first and then put them on their heads.
Mm-hmm.
Which you shouldn't do in real life ever.
It would kind of drive PETA crazy if kids did that.
That's kind of gross.
But the story is about a bunch of boys that basically, I love the way you put it, they treat the skins of animals to become the icons,
right,
and basically embody the spirit of these animals.
And what it kind of visually represents.
It's a fantastic story.
So he sees the world's largest hedgehog in a cage. Mm-hmm. It's the largest because I had to somehow come up with a reason why it takes over its whole head.
Right.
Because they're not actually that big.
Right. I mean, if you're going to put a hedgehog on your head, you're going to need a couple thousand of them.
And he thinks, well, it's a child who's been hurt by various things, and he looks at the spikes and realizes, well, I need those. So he puts them on his head. Mm-hmm. And that's how it goes from there.
Okay.
And he's the one who puts the head on his friend, who he affectionately calls Kitty. It's just a cat. He sticks it on his head, and that's it.
Okay. How does that actually tie in with your life and your experience from traveling from New York to San Francisco?
It doesn't have anything to do with traveling from San Francisco. It just has to do with growing up in upstate New York.
Okay.
I start out at the beginning of the story, and this is a little bit hard to talk about because I don't quite know how to say it without feeling strange, is that I did start the story with my own life, and it's a little bit dramatic, and it's entirely uncomfortable to look at, to be involved with, and to be having to show people. But I think what happens after that makes up for it. So that's why I did it. It's about a boy who's a very abused child, to an extreme that is extreme. And making this character was a way of dealing with that, but then I thought it was a way of helping other children sort of deal with it as well.
Right.
Give them something that they can look at.
It's an outlet.
And realize that there's something that happens after that. So I guess that's as much as I can say without getting too involved.
Okay. Wonderful. The artwork I find amazing in the book. I understand as a comic book geek, which is why I'm sleeveless. I'm showing off my Kryptonian tattoos. I have an appreciation.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, they're total Kryptonian. I have an appreciation for the artistry, the text, the story, the skill, and the discipline it takes.
It's beautiful. That's done.
This is not an easy endeavor.
No.
How much time has a 52-page graphic novel consumed out of your life?
Well, I do everything in extremes, so I did it in probably 8 months, which sounds like a long time, but it really isn't, because each page is, 11 by 17, and then you have to shrink it down. So
right.
We're talking, each square is a composition within itself in a drawing, and then you have to ink it, and then you have to go back on top of it with the computer, and so it's very, very involved. So 8 months, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge investment.
I don't know how long it takes everybody else, though, because I've never asked.
It's amazing. It's amazing how I can watch people draw, and I have no drawing skills whatsoever, so I have that appreciation.
I would like to have those. I don't want to draw anymore.
Just pay someone else to do it. Tell me about your other works, because I've seen your other works, such as at Magnet.
Well, the cover of this is a painting. So it started out as just paintings and drawings, and then I just shifted gears and went right into the comic book stuff. So prior to all this, I was just I achieved some success in painting the figure and doing lots of watercolors and. Right.
I've seen a lot of your watercolors on your website.
Very pretty stuff.
And
it's
your website
nice.
Is Rene Capone.
ReneCapone.com. And
ReneCapone.com. Don't forget that.
I shifted gears. I just decided I wanted to do something more serious and that meant something. Not that the stuff I made prior to this didn't mean anything, but it was all pretty.
Right.
And, there's more to living than just making pretty things.
Okay. We also have some samples of your work. We have an actual shot of the cover for Legend of Hedgehog Boy. The cover itself.
Oh, and there's the magic unicorn.
And there's the unicorn, yes. And there's Hedgehog Boy and Cat. And look down there in the far left corner, there's a sword.
Swords, yes.
Yes.
Just like the poem states, that he is burdened by swords. And I thought, okay, he has them on his head. What if he had to actually have to physically carry them around?
Right.
So the magic unicorn leaves him a sack of swords.
And we also have a sample of one of the panels inside the book itself. The rest of the contents are black and white. Again, amazing skill.
Thank you.
I know it's incredibly difficult to have a full graphic novel in color. That would probably triple your time.
I would never even.
That's just too much to think about.
I actually think it looks better without color.
Right.
I think there's a beauty in the simplicity of it.
And we also have some shots of you at work at your drawing table. Your drawing table.
Probably like
it must have
4
been very late at night because I could see that your glasses are on the table, and there you are with an
I'm
actual
2 seconds away from
panel. Is that typical, working late through the night?
Like I said, I do everything in extremes, and I drew it like my life depends on it. I felt like it did, and I think it actually might have psychologically.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also have samples that are going to be on display at the public library.
They're up right
now. The
now.
main branch at the San Francisco Public Library,
over
on Grove Street. Yes. That's going to be coming March 6th, I think.
I'm kind of drawing a blank because I worked all day and I can't remember.
We can guess it.
I know it's Tuesday the 3rd at 6:00.
That sounds right.
Yes.
That sounds very good
and
for me.
I'll do a sign-in for
And if anyone wants to check on other appearances, go to the website, ReneCapone.com, because that also lists all the venues that you're going to be at. It also credited.
It should as soon as I go home and update it.
Yes, yes. So check ReneCapone.com. And